Hey, what's up, everybody? It's day 2 of our Aatrox Igloo base build, and sorry for the delay in this video coming out. I was away from my computer all weekend, so I was unable to play, but I'm back and ready to keep working. As you can see, we're back on Silva here, and this little wall I had made was I was collecting some reference material. Uh, if you're unaware, I make costumes and prop replicas and stuff like that, and so I was working on taking some references of pajamas. Anyways, so picking up where we left off, I had actually come back to Aatrox. I don't remember why. It's been a couple days. But today we're going to try to make the bulk of the igloo structure, and I think that's probably gonna be everything that we do today. But depending on how long it takes, we may start refining some of the details, surface details on it, trying to smooth it out, stuff like that. Um, but I want to try also running some basic power today, uh, and that doing that should take priority over smoothing out the igloo surface, I think, because, like, for example, I know I want to let's see, Aatrox. I know I want to make some exterior lighting, and that will mean making some holes in and under the structure. So I might as well chop up a basic structure early on before I start the painstaking work of smoothing out the surface and everything. I believe... I wonder what this larger one is. I wonder if that's the landing pad. Okay, that's gotta be the landing pad, because the beacon is right underneath the landing pad. So I wonder what that secondary one was. But yeah, so I want to run some power, figure out what I'm going to do there, and then so might as well do all the dirty work before I start smoothing out the surface. I also need to map out the interior platforms, like where they're going to go. I don't need all the equipment on the platforms, but I need to figure out how many platforms I'm going to have, and I know they're just going to circle the interior perimeter here. I don't know if I'm going to have anything in the center. I may have like a power station in the center. That might be kind of cool. We'll work on that. But like I said, I don't need all the equipment. I just need to know how many platforms I have. That way I can run power and get the equipment, situated before I start spending a lot of time smoothing this out. Shoot, I was gonna see all the equipment I had on Aatrox, not on Silva, sorry, but I guess I can use the catalog. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 platforms for equipment, 8. Let's say 8. So one of them is for all the printers. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's just 8. Yeah, so let's count on 8 platforms. And I can rearrange everything as needed later on. But what we'll go ahead and do is... This space should work out nicely for 8 platforms. I know they extended the reach of these. Oh my gosh. Look at how far that reaches. That is so amazing. I wonder if it'll reach further. That looks to be about the limit. But that worked out great. Because I know I want a platform at each side of the entryway. And then I brought, while I was on Aatrox, I was doing a little bit of prep work yesterday when I got back in town. And I made a few extra platforms. I want to say I even brought... Yeah, I brought another RTG. But I figured I'd have one platform entirely dedicated to power, at least right now. And that will allow me to put a large printer on this platform, and so I have my fabrication station. And we'll go ahead and... So we have all the power that we currently have on one platform. It doesn't need to be terribly perfect right now because I'll also want some working room back in here for when I'm working on the wall thickness. But I should be able to make everything else here on the planet, at least all the platforms I need. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, currently printing number 5. Let's see if we can find some resin real quick. I want to say I have seen it here. Oh, I love these atmospheric effects. This like soda pop kind of fizzing look. I love that. Early on it looked like that was going to be rain, but it just seems to be this atmospheric kind of thing. I could have sworn there was some resin nearby. Maybe I was thinking it was this compound. But I started a little quarry. It's not the type of quarry that I've started in the past where I just, you know, I would dig basically make my own cave. But it's just sort of a designated soil extraction area. Let's see what we can get out of this. Six resin. I'll take that. Plus, not needing the all the equipment right now gives me some storage in the time being. Anyways, I think the bulk of this episode is going to end up being a time lapse because I'm not doing anything other than, or rather, I don't anticipate doing anything other than making more platforms and then starting the actual igloo structure. And I think that will be enough for this one episode. So let's go ahead and start up the time lapse. Okay, so we have the structure a little bit further along than just a basic structure. It really wasn't terribly difficult to get this structure, and as you can see, I went ahead and played around with embedding stuff in the ground, and that seemed to work fine. Obviously, without the true flat just yet, these lights aren't going to be, perfectly straight, and I'm probably not going to be able to get them at a consistent depth in the ground. But I like that. And so what I need now is I need a whole lot more copper, because the little bit of copper that I brought just wasn't a lot. So I was able to make 4 more work lamps. That's definitely not enough for the outside, and obviously I'm going to need some for the interior as well. But let's see what pieces of equipment I might be able to make here. Research chamber. Yeah, I can go ahead and get one of those going. Need 2 compound and 1 resin. I guess I got rid of that resin. Yeah. Let's see what I can get out of that. And I know that there's resin, or I know there's compound rather, around here somewhere. So let's go collect some of that. So the neat thing about dome structures is that they're very efficient for their space. And so I was kind of imagining this base being physically larger than it is. I mean, for an igloo, it's gigantic. But I was kind of imagining it being, at this far away, probably, this big at least. But I don't know, for the amount of equipment that I need for it to be a fully operational base, it really doesn't need to be terribly large. And it's, even so, as small as, relatively small as it is, it's very efficient for its usage, and it feels very open. It's kind of airy, so I'm actually wondering if I were to put the power up on the ceiling. Now, for those of you who followed along on my 60-day challenge and watched me do the true flat stuff, you'll notice that, for any kind of base building, I favor the narrow mod for making, walls and stuff. But here, I didn't want to use any sort of, narrow mod or anything. I didn't want to make the walls too thick, but I wanted them to have some thickness to them, because I am contemplating running some work lights, or if I end up putting the power in the ceiling, I'll need to run power down the walls. So let's go ahead and set this where I intend for it to go, which would probably be right there. So, unrelated to the power, I know that now shuttles require a clear view of the sky in order to operate, which makes sense. That's how it should be. But before, they did not... they didn't interact with the terrain. uh, like they phase through it. And apologies, I'm unfamiliar with the terminology associated with uh, video game like infrastructure, what the correct terminology would be, but the shuttle would just phase right through the terrain, no biggie. And so you would find people building bases at the core of planets where they'd set up a vehicle bay, and the shuttle would just shoot straight through the planet. Uh, but now, if you were to try to launch a shuttle from inside here, it would say something like no sky available or something. I forget the exact uh, wording that pops up. I'm not going to have a shuttle launch in here, but I do intend to have a trade platform launch off from inside. So I'm wondering, and someone may have already figured this out, but I haven't yet. I'm wondering if that will be a concern later on, if I'm going to have to make an opening in the ceiling. If I recall correctly from my, you know, childhood, seeing, pictures of igloos and stuff, some might have chimneys. And honestly, I haven't done any considerable research on igloos since starting this base, but I imagine some might have chimneys for airflow and stuff. So adding a chimney in here specifically for the trade platform might be in this base's future. Now, I don't think I'm going to be able to manufacture one with the resources available on this planet. Compound tungsten and iron. I don't remember what's here. I may need to get a cave going. So in the end, I think this ramp will be gone. However, I am also considering adding a ramp, maybe starting like right here and spiraling up the outside. There's no reason to use the roof for anything. There's, what does it say? Low wind. Let's see. Yeah, low sun, low wind. There is this platform over here somewhere. Where is it? There was a platform over here somewhere that it had a medium. Here it is. Yeah, see, there is wind power here, but there's really no need to set anything up on the roof. So I don't know. I may or may not add anything like a ramp up here, because if I'm not going to be going up there for any reason, there's no need to add any accessibility there. But we'll see. As much as I've been picking away at the surface here, I do still want to do a considerable amount of smoothing on this. I don't know how smooth I'm going to be able to get it. At some point, this might just end up being good enough for our purposes. I do want it to look nice, so I will continue to refine this surface a little bit more. So yeah, I think that will do it for this episode. I think what I might do in between this episode and the next episode is go collect a bunch of copper. I'll probably go back to Silva do a resource run for that, just so I know I have enough for work lights interior and exterior, and have some for extenders. Because if I end up putting the power on the ceiling, I will definitely need extenders. But anyways, I think that'll go ahead and do it for this episode. And thanks for watching, and see y'all later.